So counting on the sixth day at Congress MP's residence continues, and these are IT raids at multiple premises linked to Congress party leader Dheeraj Sahu, Member of Parliament. And the information that we've been able to gather so far, 351 crore rupees in cash have been counted so far. Much more. There are many uncounted bags that are still waiting to be counted. Income tax officials are camping at Congress MP Dheeraj Sahu's residence, and income tax officials have now sought additional cash counting machines. Multiple cash counting machines have packed up, we are told, heated up and conked off. Heavy load has led to breakdown in cash counting machines. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has reacted to this. He's targeted not just Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi, but also opposition India Alliance partners. He's asked why was Rahul Gandhi silent. He's also asked why were alliance partners from the Trinamool Congress to the DMK to the RJD and the Samajwadi Party silent. He's also asked whether this was the reason why the opposition was targeting the state machinery. Let's quickly cut across and listen in to Amit Shah. I'll get you much more on this big story.
अभी झारखंड में किसी एमपी के यहाँ, मैं किस दल के हैं कहना नहीं चाहता, पूरी दुनिया जानती है, इतनी सारी कैश मिली कि बैंक के कैशियर कहते हैं हमने भी इतनी कैश कभी देखी नहीं है। गिनते गिनते 5 दिन हो गए, 27 मशीनें गर्म हो गई, मान्यवर गर्म हो गई, मशीनें बंद हो गई, मगर अभी समाप्त नहीं होता है। और एक भी एक घमंडिया गठबंधन ने इसकी टीका भी नहीं की है, उसको सस्पेंड भी।
कांग्रेस सहित तमाम घमंडिया का जुबान बंद है। सोनिया गांधी हो, राहुल गांधी हो, प्रियंका गांधी हो, सभी की जुबान बंद है। धीरज साहू के पैसे कहां जा रहे थे? किस चुनाव के लिए? मोदी को हराने के लिए था क्या? मोदी जी का भी संकल्प है कि जब तक हम रहेंगे भ्रष्टाचारियों पर नकेल कसते रहेंगे, चाहे कितना भी बड़ा ताकत क्यों न हो।
पार्टी ने बहुत ही स्पष्ट स्टैंड लिया हुआ है कि ये धीरज साहू जी का निजी मामला है, उससे कांग्रेस पार्टी का कोई भी लेना देना नहीं है। इनकम टैक्स जो भी ऑफिशियल डिपार्टमेंट है उसके बाद में जो भी फाइनल इसके बारे में रिपोर्ट देगा, उसके बाद में धीरज साहू जी की ये जिम्मेदारी है कि वे स्पष्ट करें कि इतने बड़ी रकम उनके पास कैसे आई, और पार्टी भी जानना चाहेगी और पार्टी ने इस विषय में उन्हें स्पष्ट रूप से संकेत दे दिए।
I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Munish Pandey joining me for more on the story. Munish, the Home Minister on the floor of the House said 27 machines were being used. They heated up. Some machines apparently have conked off. What's the latest? What's the amount of the money? And is there now clarity where this money came from, what this money was meant for?
Well, Gaurav, at this point of time, the Income Tax Department suspects that this is an illegal, unaccounted money which was recovered during the raids conducted by the IT officials. As far as the raids are concerned, remember, Gaurav, from last 6 days, the raids are continuing, and from last 6 days, hundreds of bank officials are counting these notes which have been recovered not only from Jharkhand but also from Orissa. Also, we have been given to understand is that during the counting process, more than 29 machines conked off because some machines got heated up, some of the machines were working for more than 24 hours continuously, and that is why the machines also malfunctioned. The amount was such that officials from Hyderabad unit of Income Tax Department, officials from the other states were also called in to Orissa so that they can help in counting these notes. So it is a huge amount because remember, Gaurav, before this, no other agency, be it CBI, be it the Enforcement Directorate, or even if you count Income Tax Department, no agency has ever seized such amount of cash, and even the bank officials are surprised because from last 6 days, without any break, they are working continuously. And not only the bank officials of State Bank of India of that particular branch, even officials from other banks have also been called in so that they can assist the IT officials and SBI officials. So far, during the investigation, the Income Tax Department suspects that this is illegal money which is connected to Congress MP Dheeraj Sahu. And why his connection? Because there's a company called Baldev Sahu Private Limited. That company is connected to the liquor company, in the premises of which the illegal money has been recovered, and that is why the Home Minister, the Prime Minister, all of them are targeting the Congress party. That Congress party has done nothing, and it's the fact that Dheeraj Sahu is a person who was seen with Rahul Gandhi during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. There are photos of Dheeraj Sahu with Rahul Gandhi. So the question is being asked, but as far as Congress is concerned, they are saying that this is a personal matter of Dheeraj Sahu, so they would not like to comment. But this is something which the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, they don't want to buy. They are saying that
6 days. How long would it take them to count all the money? How many sacks have been counted? How many sacks remain? Is there clarity on that just as yet? Or is more money still being found? Or has all the money been found so far? Any clarity?
Gaurav, so far 161 sacks of money have been counted by the IT officials. Apart from that, there were 9 huge almiras which were recovered and seized by the IT officials. Those things have been accounted for. But there are still some of the bags which are still left. The IT officials claim that these are the small denomination which are still left, and that is still being counted. It's a very tedious process for the IT officials, because every time the money is accounted for by the IT officials, the money has to be counted for 3 times. So it is a tedious process, but we have been given to understand is that by tomorrow morning, the picture will be clear that what is the total amount of money which has been recovered and seized by the IT officials.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. So tomorrow it will be day 7. So on the 7th day, we'll have some clarity on the total amount of that money. And Munish will get us the latest on that story. But I want to shift focus to that big win for the Narendra Modi government in the Supreme Court of India. Now, 4 years since the centre abrogated or used Article 370 to remove the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, the Supreme Court upheld that decision, and this was a 5-judge constitution bench led by the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, held that the abrogation was valid. Get you more on in this report.
We have held that a textual reading of Article 370 also indicates that it is a temporary provision.
It's a big victory for the Narendra Modi government. In a landmark verdict, the Supreme Court of India upheld the abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution that gave Jammu and Kashmir special status. The unanimous verdict was given by the 5 senior-most judges of the court: Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud, Justices S.K. Kaul, Sanjeev Khanna, B.R. Gavai and Suryakant. Upholding the scrapping of special status, the court ruled that Article 370 was a temporary provision to deal with the situation of the war then. The CJI said that Jammu and Kashmir held no internal sovereignty after accession to India. The court, however, struck down a part of the presidential order that amended Article 367 to rename the J&K Constituent Assembly as State Assembly. The court did not rule on the removal of statehood, as the government had assured restoration of statehood during the hearing. It directed the centre to hold elections in J&K by September 30, 2024.
This court is alive to the security concerns in the territory. Direct elections to the legislative assemblies, which is one of the paramount features of representative democracy in India, cannot be put on hold until statehood is restored. We direct that steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India.
So the Supreme Court has given its stamp of approval in its unanimous and concurrent decision on Article 370. So is this Naya Kashmir in Naya Bharat? Joining me on India First is Irfan Hafiz Lone, a lawyer and activist from Kashmir. Sardar R.P. Singh represents the BJP. SP Ved is former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Irfan Lone, is 370 now a closed chapter? Will Naya Kashmir be all about peace, prosperity and development, sir?
Mr. Gaurav, let me clear. From day one, since decades, we are witnessing betrayals of after betrayal. Kashmir is a saga of betrayals. Let me tell you, it's not the first time we have seen such a erosion. In 1953, the Prime Minister of the J&K, Sheikh Abdullah, was arrested. And later on in 1965,
Supreme Court ने आज फैसला दे दिया. In India, Supreme Court is supreme. Supreme Court, in its wisdom, and it's a constitution bench, it has decided. I know the history, sir. This is not a history class. Will you live in the past or will you live in future? Will you live for a prosperous future?
See, Mr. Gaurav, you are a very learned person. I know you are aware about, alive of the law. Whatever the Supreme Court says, we all agree that it becomes law of the land. But earlier also Supreme Court held in Sampar Prakash judgment, Honorable Supreme Court held that Article 370 is a permanent feature. Nevertheless, Bharatiya Janata Party kept in its agenda, made a movement that we are going to abrogate it, and ultimately they did it. Likewise, today, if the Supreme Court has given a stamp on the 9 August decision, it doesn't mean that we cannot just fight politically, we cannot make a movement for a struggle for restoration of our rights. That is not only confined to 5 August, but what happened, we want pre-53 position we are
you
in.
Will continue
we
to
were
live
having
in the
our
past.
Own Prime Minister.
Several generations have been destroyed. You intend destroying more generations for what?
It's not.
For
no.
what? For your political shops to flourish. RP Singh, several leaders in Kashmir are now saying idea of India has been lost.
Please try to
Gandhi's
understand.
India has lost. RP Singh.
Gaurav, problem with these people is that for them 370 was a tool for a separate state, for a separate Islamic state, and they kept this on with in people's mind, in the Kashmiri mind, that from 370 we'll go for a separate state, and from separate state to Islamic state. This was their agenda, and then they understand that they have failed miserably on that. People of the state have seen what happened during their cause of the separate state, how militancy grew up, how people couldn't get jobs, how state was economically weakened, and how things have changed in the last 4 years. People have seen that also, how tourism has increased, how people's participation in the administration has improved. Give me a second, Gaurav. And also how terrorism has reduced, how killings of the people, how the killing of the policemen have decreased.
Sir, but you made a very important point that the Islamic State, that these people are still fighting for an Islamic State of Kashmir. Irfan Lon, before I bring in Mr. Vaid, quickly want to respond to this limited point.
Unlawful Activities Prevention Act is there. Just yesterday, before we lost a police officer to bloods. How can you say after the 370 was removed, things turned to be normal? Kashmir is still abnormal. There is disturbed area.
Sir, if you want to live in 1953, things will be quite abnormal. You're absolutely right on that account, but I want to quickly bring in Mr. Vaid. Sir, time today is a little limited. My request is, Mr. Vaid, is this the, perhaps if not the last nail, but an important nail in the coffin of separatism? Or are some mainstream leaders now parroting lines that were earlier used by separatists?
Yes, Gaurav, it's a historic judgment today given by Honorable Supreme Court, and I think it's a clear message to breaking India forces and those who were working at the behest of enemy nation to take the Jammu and Kashmir state towards separatism and ultimately breaking it from India. And I think Supreme Court, the honorable judges understood this, and they have upheld the move by Indian Parliament led by Shri Narendra Modi. And I think this should be a last nail. People will continue to play their politics. Different political parties will play their political games, but I think it is definitely a big blow to separatism. And
it's a big blow to separatism. That's a very important point you make. Those who are a part of Tukde Tukde gang, you know, they have lost. Irfan Lon, again, for your children, for your future generation, you want them to live in 1953 because no Sadre Riyasat is ever coming back. That should be very clear. You've seen how history is moving. Or will you continue to fight for that and lose perhaps another 5 generations?
No, Gaurav, just try to understand 370, whatever we are demanding, a special status, that was not favor to us. That was something decided at a political level, and only 370 gave constitutional recognition to it. And more importantly, you must understand, we are demanding something which is within the framework of constitution. It's a matter
Sir,
of our
if you know more than the 5 learned judges
rights,
of the Supreme Court, I will let that be your point of view. But in
no, Honorable Court decided with regard to the constitutional validity of the 5 August decision.
And they also decided that 370 was a temporary provision.
At 2 level. A political
370
level
was a
and a legal
temporary
level.
provision.
We exhausted the legal remedy, but the political struggle is available. We will fight politically,
as long as it doesn't become a terror struggle.
RP Singh gives me this right. We live in a democracy.
Can I make a small
but
point?
RP Singh's fear is you want to turn the
Sir,
democracy into an Islamic caliphate.
You started living in democracy
what
now.
happened in 1990? RP Singh, respond. It's a democracy. They have their rights.
I've faced it in 1990. I have faced it. You knew with my earlier relationship with Indian Express. I've seen it. I've been there on ground. I've seen how this separatism was on in Valley, but in 90s, and how their agenda was to separate Kashmir from Punjab, from country. But that point aside, the bigger issue, Gaurav, is that they said that we will not contest any election. All 3 political parties, Gupkar gang, including Congress Party, PDP and National Conference, they said we will not contest any election till the time 370 is restored. And they didn't participate in Panchayat election. They boycotted the Panchayat election. But once they saw the result of the Panchayat election, they saw that they are losing ground, then they participated in the next election. So they are people who will change according to times. I mean, it's just a matter of time where all of them will fall in line, and then we can't afford for a separate Kashmir or a Nizam-e-Mustafa in Kashmir at all, or for that regard, making Kashmir a capital of Islamic State in the country. When that's past, that's history now.
Okay, so that's history. Nizam-e-Mustafa is history. And those who've lived through, Mr. Vaid, that troublesome period of 1990 when mosque loudspeakers were used to chant Ralev Galev Ya Salev, and Hindus were thrown out of Kashmir.
You cannot say it's a history. That's part and parcel of our religion.
So, Mr. Vaid, Pakistan today is very upset. Pakistan being upset is understandable because Pakistan is very frustrated. Their foreign officers failed, their terrorism has failed. Mr. Vaid, is there a fear that terror could be used once again to destabilize Jammu Kashmir?
Gaurav, I understand, we all understand why Pakistan is so disturbed. The young generation of Kashmir do not want 90s to live in the era of 90s and earlier 53. They are looking forward to a new future, which is with India and with good jobs, good industries, good tourism, good business. They want to be the IT experts of future in India. They want to turn Kashmir like Hyderabad and Bangalore. That is what young generation in Kashmir is looking. And people of Kashmir are very intelligent. They have seen through this game of politicians playing the card of 370 and exploiting the sentiments. Let me make it very clear. The future generation of Kashmir is very, very happy with the verdict of Honorable Supreme Court.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show, but we'll track the story very closely because there still is clear and present danger that Pakistan and those who peddle Pakistan's agenda may try to use terror to once again try and destabilize Jammu and Kashmir. They've done that rather successfully in 1990. Will they again succeed? Remains to be seen, and we'll be tracking that story very closely. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me.